Hello YouTube, this is 1,000+ videos on repairing all different stuff. So here we have, let me just describe the situation. This is a standard Lenovo Legion system. Any Lenovo Legion, Legion 5, 7, whole bunch of variations. All of them have exactly the same problem, this connector. And I have done about 1,000 of those connector replacements, and every second one has an additional issue, and that additional issue only applies to the Lenovo Legion laptops. No other laptops have these issues except Lenovo Legion systems. So what happens is that the connector goes bad. You wiggle the connector left, right, up, down, left, right, and that center black rectangular piece, it comes off from that connector and it falls off. Usually it falls off into your plug, or it falls off all together. And what happens after the connector falls off, that black piece falls off, you plug in your plug. Let me see if I have one of those plugs here. Yeah. So sometimes that black piece falls inside the plug right there. It gets stuck inside there. That's usually a good thing. But if it falls off altogether and you just connect this plug directly into the laptop and you power up the plug, the motherboard basically shorts out. And it shorts out on this chip right here. This is the chip that usually shorts out. Every second one of those, not every second. Basically, here's the thing. If that black piece is still there, then your board is not shorted for sure. You're gonna be fine. If you just wiggle it, but the black piece is there, usually you should be fine. But once that black piece breaks off, and even if you try to put the black piece back into the jack, I'm pretty sure it's already too late. The motherboard already shorts out, and it shorts out right here on this chip right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to replace this particular chip. Now, again, replaced thousands of those in the last 5-6 years, all right? Thousands. And even on my website, I said, guys, don't send me anything that has that black centerpiece broken, because I had no chips like that in stock right here. Eventually, those chips are started to be for sale on in China, and you could order one of those chips from China. The problem is this chip is different for different boards. So for example, Legion 5 has one chip, Legion 7 has another chip, and sometimes Legion 5 could have 10 different chips like that. Not 10, but there's like 8 or 10 of them. 8, 9, 10, something around those times. And everything is good. Everything is good. It's just some chip suppliers are not exactly selling what I need. Basically, some chips work, some chips don't. And what I narrowed it down to, the markings on the chips, on the chip like this IO chip, when you go to, for example, AliExpress to order one of those chips, it has to be identical markings. So if I try to put something that doesn't have identical chip markings, it's gonna fit in here and it's probably gonna work. But I got complaints from the clients that, oh, you know what, my keyboard now doesn't work, or like my touchpad now doesn't work. Could be because they didn't connect the keyboard to the touchpad, or it could be that the chip, the markings on the chip weren't exactly the same. So I can only stack so many chips because first of all, they used to be expensive. They used to be like $100 each, all right? Now the prices came down a lot, but what we got tariffs, all right? So when we got tariffs, for every order I made from AliExpress, I had to pay $100 tariff. So even if I order like a $30-40 chip, now the price is probably, by the time you watch this video, price is probably gonna be like around, probably lower. I still have to pay $100 for the tariff. So if I order one part, I usually pay $100 for the tariff. And obviously this is not a profitable business anymore, because I don't charge that much to repair this stuff. So again, so the connectors right here, if you send me just the motherboard, I charge you $60 plus a prepaid return shipping label. So you send me the board, I replace the connector, I get the $60, and the return shipping is your expense, right? When the chip would go out, all right, I would pretty much tell the client right away if they have that black piece missing, then I would replace this connector. If the chip is out, I would have to replace the chip, and the client could order the chip himself and it would be shipped here, or I would order the chip. So the whole thing, basically, the whole business venture didn't work out as soon as we got tariffs. Now those tariffs kind of got unwound, but we're probably gonna get tariffs again. But I don't want to be I don't want to be advertising something that I can't deliver. So I mean, I can't deliver a repair if the tariff is going to be $100 just to import one part from China. So this is exactly what I told this particular client, and I told the client's connector right here, the black piece was broken, and I replaced the connector. But what he did, he sent me a picture right away. He showed me that the black piece is missing. And I told him, listen, you know what? I'm not gonna do it simply because that chip is broken, and I'm not gonna be looking for that chip in China and pay a tariff of $100 to import the chip for you because I don't charge that much for the repairs. So he said that, listen, all right, how about he gonna find the chip, he gonna order the chip, and he will send the chip to me just in case I replace this connector and this thing doesn't work. And that's exactly what happened. I replaced this guy and it still has a short on the motherboard. I had a video before where I said the problem is unfixable, and I described the point how to check if the problem is fixable or not. And basically the problem is if you measure the continuity to this particular shiny point right there, if it shorts, that means the chip is shorted. So the client, so you can check it at home to see if it shorts or not. So here, oh, this guy doesn't work. Okay. I'm hardly ever using a YouTube Studio now, so the battery in that guy drained. So let's see. All right. Okay. The battery in this guy probably also. All right. So what I'm trying to describe here is that this is a negative, this is a positive right there. Here you can measure anything you want, you're not going to see anything, all right? But if you measure if you're going to measure it to this shiny point right there, this should not give us an open loop, all right? So we're talking about this shine point. I will show you in a second where to measure. And on this capacitor, if it shows us shortage here, so we got shortage here, and we got a shortage on this side. So here, let me show you. Again, if you look at 1,000+ videos of prior repairs, I'm sure you're gonna find this particular laptop where I was describing that I can't find out what the problem is, and eventually I found out that the problem is the chip. So where you need to measure it is right here at this point. You see the shiny tiny point right here? Right here. All right. So if you measure it, if you get a 0 resistance, that means that your chip is faulty. So you hear the beep, that means 0. And this capacitor should work as a capacitor, but here it says it's shorting. Now some of you would say, listen, bro, you have a foil right here that shorts the board. Honest to God, like the foil has nothing to do with this shorting. I'm just saying this will be the problem, all right? So just measure the continuity to that particular point, and if you see that it has a short, that means this chip is probably out. That's what's happening to 99.99999% of all of those guys. So again, if you have exactly the same problem, I'm not going to be shopping around for this chip for your particular laptop. Take the laptop apart, all right? Find what the markings on the chip are, all right, for your particular chip. Buy the chip in China from AliExpress. Make sure it's exactly identical chip, all right, and send everything my way. And I will charge you $100 for the repair of the connector and the chip, all right, for the replacement. Again, that's way below anybody else gonna charge you, and nobody else does this kind of work for that kind of money. It just I'm in business of fixing this stuff, but I replaced so many of those guys that I figured I might as well charge you. So this is what the client sent us, and I hope that's exactly identical to this. I will see under microscope if this is identical, but the numbers are matching. IT8226E dash 1918192. Yeah, so the first numbers are matching, and hopefully the rest of it probably match. This is a Lenovo proprietary chip, and L003 on this, L002 on this. So some numbers don't match, the second numbers don't match, and the third numbers don't match, but the first number matches. So I hope that once I remove this guy, put this guy in there, everything's gonna be peachy. All right, so let me show you how to replace this guy. Again, just to sum things up, so I wouldn't be doing it over the phone or over the text messages or over the emails. I will just direct everybody to this video. So again, if that black piece is missing, you can measure the continuity to that. So to measure the continuity, you just set it to ohms right there. All right, ohms, and this the battery probably on this died. And if it shows you 0, here, let's tune it to show us 0. No, the battery is dead. All right, no, not yet. Okay, hold on. All right. So if we measure it here and it shows us 0, that means that the chip is out. Okay. Seen it about 100 times before. All right. So, okay, let's begin and see if we can remove this connector. This chip. And I want to make sure that I would have enough space to solder the new chip on. All right. So I insulated everything so that nothing would get flown off the board or get melted. All right, that's what I do all the time, every time. This is the replacement of that. I have 100 plus videos of how to, not 100, but a dozen videos of how to replace on your particular Lenovo Legion this particular connector. All right, I just noticed it on some of the chips. You can see right away, this is the original chip again. You can see right away a burn mark right here. Is that a burn mark? Is that a dirt? No, I think that's probably a burn mark. Right, so this is the original chip, IT8226E. No, I mean, I think there is a hole here. Yeah. There is a hole that got burnt out right here. Now check with my other videos, see if you got burn marks. I mean, I've been making videos for 10 plus years, so I don't remember what I did yesterday. All right, so we got this chip, right, that we need to remove. I don't need a microphone for it. I'll just switch it to another camera. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I didn't switch the. Here's what I was trying to explain and show. This is the hole right there. And this is the IT8226E. S16SHA L003-192. And this stuff doesn't match, but oh well. All right, so this is what I wanted to show. All right, let's switch to the different. All right, so what I do is I flood it with flux. All right, flood everything with flux. And then I just put the hot air to remove this guy from the motherboard. And hopefully, probably not the best results, but we're gonna work. Come on. All right, so what we're looking at is to see if all the traces are intact. And I think only one of them is damaged. Hold on 1 second, let's see. No, it looks okay. All right. So technically some people just drop a new chip here on a hot air pad, but this is not what I do usually because I might overheat the chip itself. So basically what people do is they drop the chip and they heat it from all the sides so that it would be stuck to the motherboard. I prefer to do it by hand because I only have one chip here. I'm not gonna have a dozen more chips here anytime soon, so I can't mess it up. All right, so I only get one try. So what I do is I mix the leaded base solder with unleaded base solder. All right, and that will help me remove the whole thing doesn't even want to fit. All right. All right, so once I mix all of that, all right, what I do is I remove all the solder. Even though people will tell me I'm doing it wrong, this is how I do it, all right? Multiple ways to do it. If you're in a hurry, you can just drop the chip in and melt it away. Now, the reason I melted the old chip because it's an old chip. It's definitely never gonna work again, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me switch the. All right. So this is basically. I'm gonna clean it up. All right. Let's do this. All right, what I want to do is I want to flood this stuff again with the flux and go with the soldering iron through everything one more time. Make sure that everything is removed so that the chip would be sitting perfectly on the motherboard, perfectly straight, I mean, on the motherboard. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now the best thing is not to mess up when I'm putting the chip onto the board. Let's do that. You see how beautiful it is? Beautiful. Just like amazing. Amazing. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Beautiful. All right. So this is what needs to be done. All right, where is the new part? The new part. All right, so that's the new part. As you can see, there is no dent right there, so it's not like I came up with that dent. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna guide this in. You have to align. And yeah, I don't stack those chips anymore. So you do need to provide those chips because like there is no space for me to keep the motherboards here in piles waiting for chips to come in. That's gonna take months, and I don't want the clients to wait so long. I mean, this is like a quick business in terms of you send in, I fix it, I send it back to you. But if I need to wait for a chip from China, it's okay. So we aligned it here. And we aligned it right there. Like that. Like that. Like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. A little bit this way. All right. A little bit that way. It's difficult to do when you it's difficult to do when you're old and your hands are shaking. I'm talking about myself. I should simply probably become a realtor or a mortgage broker because that's simpler jobs in terms of you just have to press buttons. All right, come on. Come on, align already, will ya? Okay. So some day ago, I bought this microscope thinking it will never pay for itself. But with jobs like that, I mean, it's impossible. All right, I think it looks good. All right, so let's see if we can stabilize it. Yeah, looks good, right? Let's see if we can stabilize it in place. Okay. Ah, no, 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 no. Did I touch the whole thing? Did I mess things up? Oh, looks good. Okay, let's try one more time. Ah, it doesn't look perfect, but oh well. Okay. Okay. Good job. All right. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna flux everything up and go pin by pin and try to solder every single pin. Now I can pretty much, if I put flux before that, a ton of flux, it might not be sitting properly. And let's do. When I spent $1,000 on this iron with the fine tip, I was like, this thing never gonna pay for itself. But without this iron, good luck. I mean, you can do it with the hot air, so it's not so much good luck. You can do everything with the hot air. And you would say, bro, you're not even touching the pins. Yes, I'm not touching the pins of the chip. And there is a reason for that. I will get to it. You could touch the pins. Only problem is sometimes I realize that they are, you see why right there. All right, so that I touch the pins and they join together. All right. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I will try to yeah, that's like the worst thing right there. Good, good. All right. So that's the reason I don't touch the pins. All right. Trying not to touch the pins. Oh, the reason it doesn't want to solder well because I didn't put the flux in. Like, why is it not flowing? All right. Good job. Yeah, some of you tell me that I use too much flux, but again, in the United States, the price of flux is, yes, it's expensive, but I mean, I don't have to be economical in terms of it pays for itself, all right, for me, because my time is more valuable than Flux. Flux is a lot of help. Yeah. I understand most of you are gonna tell me, bro, there is a cold soldering joints for sure. I will get to it, I promise. Just give me a second. I need to make sure that every pad has enough solder to excellent. All right. All right. Beautiful. Not sure if you want to see the rest of it. I mean, it's all the same, but let me show you quirks and features. All right, let's see. You've been listening to me already for how long? 32 minutes. Oh, no, 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 no. No. That's the problem. I don't touch the one. Trying not to touch the. Let's hope we can unbreach this. Yeah. Good job. All right. Something didn't go right with this side because I was expecting much better job. Okay. All right. One last side. Yeah, right here. Okay. Again, what I do is I flux everything over. And let's see if we can get this thing done. Each one of those tips is like $100 for this iron. And they do go out all the time. Nope. Oh, wait. You see, when I put a ton of flags, it makes my life a lot easier. Good job, good job. All right. Beautiful. All of it, right? Yeah, all of it. Good job. Now, here is the secret to making this thing work. I still need to use the hot air, but I'm not gonna use the hot air at the point where I could melt the chip. It's gonna be really light breeze of hot air, just enough to melt the solder so that it would go and penetrate the leg beautifully. And I'm gonna do just one side by one side. So here, let's set the soldering station to next to nothing pretty much. And let's start with far, far, far away. And make sure that we're gonna be able to solder everything here beautifully. And penetrate everything into the legs. All right. Let's see. Again, this is nothing. Like the hotness is about 300 degrees right now. Celsius. All right. And the solder doesn't even want to melt. All right. Let's add a bit more. And you see this? That's the secret, my friends. How beautiful everything gets sucked into the legs. All right, let's try the same thing with the next. I mean, this side is really beautifully soldered, I think. Beautiful. Again, I didn't want to overheat anything, but this is beautiful. Again, we're using the lowest settings there are to use. And then this side is also already beautiful. You can see from soldering of the other sides, we were able to make, so I mean, I don't even have to do this side, but just in case, I want to make sure everything is set just fine. All right, let's do it. Amazing. My only concern is this guy right here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Right there, you see? Yeah. Let's add some solder to here. You see, visual inspection is necessary. Okay. Okay. Let's see it now. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so here's the last thing left to do. Last side. All right, let's put some flux on top. Okay. And let's leave the hot air. All right. All right. Beautiful. All right. Looks good. And I have to get this whole thing checked, each pin, because I wouldn't know if everything works until the client puts it back together and lets me know that everything is working. All right, let's see. Because I'm not redoing this thing second time around. Yeah, this line could be much straighter, but you see it's not straight, so... And that's because I moved a little bit. But I mean, all the pads have connections to the... All the pins have connections to the motherboard. Let's see. All right. the last line. And this one is beautifully made. Do you see how beautiful this is? Wow. Wow, wow, wee, wow. All right, so again, if you send me the chip, if you send me the motherboard, to replace the chip and the connector, again, I'm sure your connector is already, I mean, the connector is broken anyway, but maybe you replace the connector, but you didn't replace the chip yet. So anyways, it's $100 to, all right? So what I'm gonna do next is, try to clean it up slightly. All right. While we're under microscope, I can remove all of the possible balls of solder. And I can see one ball right here. Right. Okay, that's just an air pocket. I'm not sure if this is soldered ball or it's not a solder ball. Right, everything else looks good here. All right. Everything is beautiful here. My only concern is right here. Something is stuck. Let me clean it up a bit more. Do we have something in there or we don't? It's like probably optical illusion. Or do we have something in there? Or we don't have something in there? I don't see anything there. It's all good here. All right, my only concern is this guy right there. Let's see. Doesn't look like too much solder, but I guess solder got sucked into the connector all the way. All right. Okay, what do we have right here? It's all good. And beautiful. All right, let's clean it up a bit more. All right, let's remove the insulation. All right, I need to clean up stuff a little bit more, but this is basically how the chip looks like when installed. And I'm checking to see if there are any imperfections when, again, it has a lot more cleaning to do. I just need to make sure that, this is just fast from cleaning. All right. All right. All right. So that's how you install a Lenovo chip. Is that a scratch? Yeah, that's a scratch. Is that a scratch? No, that's So I use a no clean flux, but you still have to clean it, and that's the flux. That's remaining of the flux, and this is remaining of the flux. I still need to clean it up, and I will clean it up, but it's gonna take a lot more time. So just let's switch to the overhead cam, and let's measure the continuity. At this point, and let's see if I was right or am I not right. All right, so we got the ground on this side, but here we show a resistance, all right? Where is the point at? Hold on. Right there, all right? Okay, good job. So the shortage is no longer there, right? We fixed the shortage with the new chip. And hopefully once the client puts it all back together, everything is going to be working fine. Now what I need to do is I need to still clean up the remaining flux using the ISP and the air. And it's gonna lay still for like a day or so, and I'm gonna send it on the air vac, and I'm gonna send it back to the client. All right. So if you got exactly the same Lenovo Legion that was made in the last 6-7 years, your chip is probably faulty because you wiggled this guy to death. Now, if it still works sometimes, the chip is fine. But if you wiggled it and the black piece broke off, the chip is bad. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.